What's going on, everyone? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an amazing, wonderful, beautiful day. If we have a look at what Bitcoin is doing, still consolidating sideways. So obviously we had the massive 25% pop, and currently we are just sort of consolidating. This usually happens after you have a very, very big move. The markets tend to take that little bit of a breather, right? Ultimately, what you want, if you do want higher levels, is you kind of want to have that pop, step sideways, pop, step sideways, right? That's sort of a healthy market if you are going upwards, or even little pullbacks are okay. Now, this one yesterday, you could see Bitcoin fell all the way down to about 20,370. Now, why did it get down? We saw all this volume coming in. Well, this was because there was this big announcement. I don't know if you guys were following over on Twitter. We were talking about it if you guys aren't following over there. And the Justice Department announced an international cryptocurrency enforcement action. So, literally everyone is sitting there. I'm running downstairs. I'm like, all right, I got to watch this. It's 12 o'clock. I'm sitting in my chair and I'm waiting for the big announcement. I'm like, what does this mean for me? What does it mean for cryptocurrency? And literally, it turns out that they basically just seized this exchange, Bitzlato, which everyone was kind of like, what is this? I've never heard of it before. And you could just see the memes were just rolling out here. Block 5, Voyager, Celsius, FTX, Department of Justice, Bitzlato. There's a feather. They did the Department of Justice, Bitzlato, and then FTX, Celsius, 3 Arrows Capital. So, yeah, it was kind of, it was a little bit of a misevent. Now, honestly, should we take it completely not as a bullish sign? Well, I mean, it's nice to see that they are going after the criminals, but at the same time, it was, a very, very, very small issue, really, when you consider all the things that have gone wrong in crypto recently. But nevertheless, you guys could see, we did fall out of this structure. We were bought right back up with that wick. The only downside is you can see right here that we were kind of rejected, right? We were originally in this upward sloping channel, and right here you can see that we did get rejected. However, what we are forming now is more of an actual sideways bear flag, right? So we will talk about that, guys. There are a lot of things today that I do want to go over. One person who is upset, though, is Jim Cramer. He says the manipulation higher of crypto shows you that this is truly a sham market, which, by the way, if you guys follow Jim Cramer over on Twitter, he's a bit of a meme at this point. Basically, every time he tweets something bearish, you just go long, right? And it tends to be a good trade. But that being said, I do want to talk about the fact that Bitcoin has flashed a signal that we have been waiting for, an indicator, and it is bullish. However, there is a catch to this, okay? We are not out of the woods just yet. We need to address the elephant in the room. That's what we're going to talk about today. Also want to talk about the fact that looks like Genesis is officially going to go through with that bankruptcy. So how could that shake up the industry in the short term? We will discuss that. And I also want to talk about the fact that Binance has actually been identified as a counterparty to this Bitzlato exchange. So what does this all mean, right? We're going to dive in. We're going to have a look. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. And of course, I will let you know exactly what I am looking at in the charts. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. So as you can see right here, basically what we had was we did have this parallel channel moving to the upside, and I said that technically really isn't a bull flag, it's just a channel. But what are we doing right now is we're actually consolidating now sideways perfectly between the top and the bottom. So you could say that this might be a little bit more bullish. However, I would prefer if we can get back up into here. You know what I'm saying? Get back up into this trend right here, because now what you're getting is this is going to start acting as resistance. So if we come up again, and let's say we get up to around 21,200, and then we get rejected again, that makes the likelihood of us falling lower a lot higher, right? The other thing I want to point out too is We almost made an attempt to close the CME futures gap right here with this wick, right when we had that Bitzlato, whatever it's called, news that came out. I still think it's very, very, very possible and likely that we still come down here and close the CME futures gap. It's not that much lower to go. You would really only have to go down to about $19,990 in order to close that, which from where we are right now is a 4.6% move to the downside. And as I said, I would rather close this now, get it out of the way, and then we can, continue to the upside and we can attempt to tackle this downward sloping trend, which arguably is the most important trend to pay attention to. Obviously, on the short term, the fact that we keep getting rejected at this previous pivot high is an issue, right? Because basically what we're doing here, and I know I sound like a broken record, but this is what we're looking at. You keep putting in these lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. What you need to do, and I know it's like super simple. I mean, it's very obvious, but what you need to do is you need to, maybe come down here, something like this, right? And then once you flip that into the support, then you can definitely say, okay, this is a pretty good confirmed move. We're probably going to continue to the upside. Right now, we're still waiting on a direction, right? But if you guys do want to learn how to trade, make sure you watch the tutorial. There's $56,000 in bonuses below, and make sure that you get subscribed to the channel and turn the bell notification on, because I will be making updates as soon as I see something. Right now, nothing too crazy, but I am letting you know those levels to pay close attention to. Now, something interesting too is, remember, we did have this green dot on Market Cipher, and whenever you tend to get these green dots, it tends to represent pretty good bottoms, right? We had one here, we had one here, we had one here. And the other thing I want to point out is looking at this weekly money flow. Basically, the money flow is this down here. You see green, green, green. And then, you can see where we go down into the red, right? So this red, represents, we're obviously deep in the bear, right? And you could see that we really don't start coming out of the bear market until you have the red switching into the green, right? But the other thing is that these are excellent, excellent, excellent opportunities for accumulation. So again, down here, right? We're in the red, we got the green dot, and then, we come out, and this is around, this was around $8,000, but keep in mind that this was a fake out, right? This was a fake out rally that lasted literally over a year, and it ended up coming back down anyway. So what we're looking at now is we do have that green dot, and we are still in the red. We're not 100% out of it, and it does look like the red is trying to pull up, but we still are, in a downward slope. Can you see what I'm saying, guys, right here? The red, let me see if I can just draw this. The red is sloping downwards, like right here. You see that? So until we start to go the other way on the money flow into the green, you really can't 100% confirm it just yet. But here's the indicator that I talked about. So we have been looking at this MVRVZ score for a long, long, long time. And basically what you want to see is us to get somewhere into this green area, this light green area down here, right? That usually signals the best time for accumulation. You can see down here, that marked the bottom. As soon as we dipped back up and came out, that was basically the end of the worst part of the bear market. You could see the same thing right here, right? Once we kind of, we kind of teased coming out. We teased coming out. Once we fully came out, that was in fact the end of the bear right here, right? You can see this dot right up there. That's where we started to come out. Same thing again right here. Once we started to come out, I know I'm probably in the way, then that was the end of the bear. And right here, I don't know how much I could zoom into this, show you guys. We have started to peak. So it would be interesting if this was a bit of a fake out, because if we come back here, there was this area, where we did kind of, this thing is so annoying that it just shows you, but we peaked right here, right? You see that? And if we come up here, that was not the end of the bear market. It was a little bit of a fake out, right? We actually had a triple bottom, but nevertheless, it does signal that we are very close, okay? So not trying to call the bottom, could we go lower? I'm not even gonna get into that argument today, but we are very, 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 very close. And statistically speaking, historically speaking, there should not be much longer, even if we do, for some reason, get a massive rejection and go down to 12,000 or something. Regardless, we should still be very, very, very close to nearing the end of the bear. But here's the problem. The problem is that we keep getting slammed down by this channel right here. It's actually a descending broadening wedge, but this line right here over on the S&P, you can see rejected, and now we're starting to fall below this critical support, okay? Well, I would say this is more critical actually at this point, since there's more candles down there now, but you could see that once this starts to fall, it could pull down Bitcoin with it, right? The interesting thing, though, is if you come over and have a look at the DXY is also falling as well. Now, there's a lot of different things going on. The Davos situation is happening. Someone was telling me that, I think it was Japan is buying up a bunch of junk bonds or something like that. I'm not really sure. It's like this big experiment. Don't quote me on it. But nevertheless, you are still seeing the DXY fall. Now, just to point out something, just to show you guys on technicals. So I wanted to explain to you why you can see that ultimately this pattern, eventually, it's like a megaphone pattern. You will have a breakout to the upside. It's just a matter of when. You can see this is a descending broadening wedge. Now look at this. This is just a fun little thing to show you. This was an ascending broadening wedge, right? This is getting wider as it's going up. And look what happened. It broke to the downside. So I'm telling you guys, people say that TA is a bunch of hocus pocus, but yet there's the examples right in front of your eye, right? So that being said, let's have a look at what is happening in the crypto space. And of course, guys, if you want to trade, check out the bonuses, etc. Get subscribed. We're waiting for that signal. I'll let you guys know. There's a Telegram group too if you want to get in it. Sometimes if it's super urgent, I'll post in the Telegram. That also is in the description. It's totally free if you want to join. So, talking about what's going on, Genesis Global. We knew it was coming. It's not really a black swan if you're expecting it, but they have started to move towards filing for bankruptcy. According to a report by Bloomberg, the platform could file for bankruptcy as soon as this week, and it has been on the brink of bankruptcy since November 20 of last year, with the platform trying to raise nearly $1 billion in funds, which clearly they were not successful with. The report comes days after DCG, Digital Currency Group, the parent firm of Genesis, suspended quarterly dividends, which if that doesn't scream red flag, I don't know what does. This was a means to preserve liquidity and reduce operation costs, that's what they said. But a recent report by the block states that the creditors of Genesis, including Gemini Exchange, are negotiating a prepackaged bankruptcy plan. Under this, Gemini and other creditors would receive cash and equity in digital currency for giving a forbearance period of up to 2 years. The crypto lender is liable to pay creditors over $3 billion, including Gemini Earn users. And as a way to pay them, they were considering selling some of their assets. So 2 parts to this. So the first part is that if they do have to liquidate some of these coins that they're holding, some of these altcoins in their portfolio, that could be a little bit rough on the overall crypto markets. If they had to, unload some of their grayscale GBTC, that could be really, really tough on the markets, okay? But here's the thing. This is not a black swan because people knew about this. It wasn't like FTX where it just collapsed overnight and it just caught everyone off guard. Everyone knows that Genesis was having issues. We know that they were probably going to have bankruptcy, and they're going to go through this process in a legitimate legal manner and take care of it the way that you would normally take care of anything, in the world that was going bankrupt. So it's not a process that's unfamiliar. It's not something that people should be freaking out about. It might suck to have to, wait for some of these creditors to get paid back their loans or whatever from their earn, but ultimately, it's not, I don't think, going to affect the markets that bad. If we dump to the downside, I don't think it'll really have as much to do with this as it would have something to do with macro, right? Because if you stay around to the end of the video, there is something that is happening, and we will talk about it. It's happening very shortly. In fact, it may have even happened by the time you're watching this video. I'm not really sure. But you can see right here, moving on, we have Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange by trade volume, has been identified as a counterparty to Bitzlato, which is now facing money laundering charges in the U.S. The controversy surrounding Bitzlato also involves Binance after the U.S. DOJ, Department of the Treasury, wrote in an order that Binance was Bitzlato's Bitzlato. I hate saying that word, Bitzlato. It's just stupid. Top receiving counterparty of Bitcoin between May and September. Coming in as the second and third was Russian dark web market Hydra and the Finico, a Russian-based website that has been accused of operating a pyramid scheme. I can only imagine what the YouTube algorithm is going to do with all those words I just said. Probably not going to... Let me know if you see this video, guys. Thumbs up if you're watching. Demonetized. Commenting on the news that Binance was a top-tier receiver of the funds from Bitzlato, a Binance spokesperson told Bloomberg that the exchange fully cooperated with the law enforcement case. So it's not really like Binance was involved. It's just that these guys were sort of using Binance as a way to also kind of funnel and circumvent their funds. It's not like CZ was like part of this. You know what I'm trying to say? They were just also using it. But Binance said that they did essentially work with the authorities to help them to, figure out the crime at hand. So, at the end of the day, how much of a victory was it? You can see it says Bitzlato tag wallets have about $11,000 in them. At peak, they had 6 million. That's not really a lot of money when you consider a cryptocurrency exchange. I mean, Binance does this literally in minutes, a minute, seconds of trading, right? But that being said, I guess it's comforting maybe to just see the fact that the U.S. is going after these criminals. A lot of people have been burnt and hurt by a lot of the things that have happened. 3 Arrows Capital, Voyager, BlockFi, Celsius, FTX, the list goes on. And I think that it's comforting to see that at least they're trying. They're giving it an effort. That's all that matters, right? As long as they're giving it an effort. But this is hilarious to me, by the way. This is hilarious. So Jamie Dimon is over on Squawk Box. They're talking to him about Bitcoin again. And now he's negative. Now keep in mind, this is the guy. Go back, watch the shorts. Go to my YouTube channel, go to the thing, watch the shorts, watch the Jamie Dimon short, where literally he says it's a Ponzi, it's a fraud, he wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And then that weekend, JP Morgan is buying a bunch of Bitcoin. Like, you cannot believe a word these guys say. So here he goes again. They're talking to him. Now he's flipped negative again?
What we're talking about, we pretty much always have some crypto conversation with you. I'm just curious, because I don't think we've talked to you since...
I think all that's been a waste of time, and why you guys waste any breath on it is totally beyond me.
Because you just think the whole thing just is
going to zero?
Going to zero and it's fake?
Bitcoin itself is a hyped-up fraud. It's a pet rock.
You're back to that?
Yeah,
really?
Of course, yeah.
But Bitcoin's based on a distributed ledger.
Yeah,
it has all the characteristics of a store of value. It's immutable. It's scarce.
Totally untrue. It's
21 million.
Well, yeah, really. How do you know it's going to stop at 21 million?
Because
I've mentioned this to people
Satoshi.
Too. Everyone says that. Well, maybe it's going to get to 21 million, and Satoshi's picture is going to come up and laugh at you all and say, "No."
There isn't a picture.
And by then, Satoshi will have taken out billions of dollars.
By the way, let me just stop right there before we go any farther. There literally cannot be any more than 21 million. It's in the code. That's how the code is. Everyone has audited it. They've looked into it, right? There's not going to be like, oh, surprise, Satoshi had a backdoor entrance. No, it doesn't work like that, guys. The Bitcoin code has been audited thousands upon thousands of times. Trust me, there's only ever 21 million. Anyway, let's continue.
In some cases,
Jamie, there's a difference between saying FTX is a decentralized Ponzi scheme and saying that crypto itself is a Ponzi scheme. That's like, Madoff created options.
Crypto itself that doesn't do anything is a pet rock. You're happy to
Bitcoin.
You can own it all you want.
I'm just talking. There's a lot. It's billions of dollars.
I don't care about Bitcoin, so we should drop the subject.
So I don't know, guys. Jim Cramer coming out being negative. Now we got JP Morgan. Remember the last time he was talking smack about Bitcoin? He was secretly buying. So can you really trust these guys? I don't know, guys. That might be a bottom buy signal for me, not financial advice. But here's the situation, right? Here's the elephant. This is something we have to address. We cannot be ignorant to the reality of what is happening right now. You have crypto trading giant QCP Capital expecting the Fed to be irate as financial conditions ease. Now, I'll give my opinion on this, but listen. Despite the Federal Reserve's repeated warnings of continued liquidity tightening ahead, there has been a risk revival in almost all corners of the financial market, including retail-dominated meme stocks and dog-themed cryptocurrencies like Bonk. That has the crypto options trading firm worried about a Fed pushback. The Fed doesn't want to see the markets rallying. They want to see the opposite. And I know that sounds terrible. I know that sounds very evil, okay? But they want to try to control it. The fact that we are seeing the DXY fall and we're seeing a risk on asset, they're not going to like this very much. A lot of people are factoring in, a 25 basis point raise. What if they come out with a 50? I'm just saying, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm not saying they're going to do it. But they say while we expect the February 1st FOMC meeting to push back strongly against the pricing, we believe that the March 22nd FOMC meeting will be the moment of truth when updated rate forecasts will be released. Should there be no adjustment to the median 2023 dot plot, then we expect markets will be in for a rude shock. Bloomberg's Financial Conditions Index has turned positive for the first time since April of last year, when the Fed funds rate stood between 0.25% and 0.5%. In other words, markets have basically completely undone 400 basis points worth of federal tightening. They are not going to like this very much. The premature easing could be attributed to hopes that falling inflation expectations and signs of economic slowdown would force the Fed to cut rates later this year. Has powered the market, but the Fed is saying they won't cut rates this year. That's what they're saying. Can we trust them? Is the market factoring in the fact that the Fed is known for bluffing? That sounded like a rhyme or something, like a tongue twister. But this is the thing, okay? So we have Lael Brainard, I don't know. She's the vice chair of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, right? Very, very important person. Now, she's supposed to be speaking at this Davos meeting where they all are right now. I think she's talking today. I don't know. I didn't look at the schedule, but I know she's supposed to be talking sometime, let's say within the next day or two, right? Now, she is known to be one of the more dovish. In other words, she is not hawkish, right? Hawkish is, Jerome Powell right now raising the rates. Like, hawkish is bearish, dovish is bullish, okay? You kind of get the correlation. So she has been known to speak more lightly, right, about the economy, more positively, less harsh about the rate raise increase. Now, if she comes out and she has hawkish tone today or tomorrow, that may send a very, very big signal to the markets, to the investors, that the Fed is not kidding. Our last hope, the most dovish of everyone, if she comes out and she's super hawkish, that's going to be bearish, okay? So there's a chance if you see the market starting to move downwards either today or tomorrow, it could be because of whatever she said, right? So, just kind of Google that if you guys want to see that. Like I said, I don't know. I think she's supposed to talk today, not 100% sure. But, obviously, Bitcoin had a great move, and we are still holding above the 200 daily. So as long as we can hold above that, statistically, even minimally, we should have a rally for, at least a couple weeks or two, right? If we can maintain above it. If we have a fake out, then that's not the case. So that level is sitting at around 19,550. So kind of just to put it into perspective, as long as Bitcoin can maintain above 19,550 on the daily, then we're good. So that's about it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Make sure that you get subscribed, turn on the bell notifications, drop a like if you appreciated this video, and we will continue to monitor the markets every single day as usual. So thank you again for coming back. If you do want to learn how to trade, practice with that paper account first. And if you want those extra bonuses, check the link below. And also, I highly recommend, if you have not watched this video right now, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're crazy. Check it out. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.